Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Hope my voice is audible and screen are visible to you. Is my voice is audible and screen are visible to you? Is my voice is audible and screen are visible to you? Thank you. Thank you very much. So before continue session, we need to discuss regarding project. So you know that things a project end date is 10th July till uh, evening you must be up submit your project on our Google form. But the question is what? Mm, who are not have a laptop or desktop? For those students who are not have any laptop or desktop, they can join uh, any of your friend who have a laptop and desktop. So, may I know how many students use only mobile without laptop and desktop? Yes. On the same day, we are provided deadline, that's the 10th July. Students who are not have a laptop and desktop, they just post your name on our chat box. Okay, Rohan and Sania. Okay, three, four. Next, seven, eight, nine. Hmm. Okay, maximum students from Savory and SCSP. Vaishali Rutuja. Okay, so it's nearest 35 to 40. So students who are not have a laptop and desktop, they need to join your friend. So you can make your project with your friend who are not have a laptop and desktop. So students who are not have a laptop and desktop, they are joined to create a project to their friend, and you are going to create a project. Only those students who are not have a laptop and desktop, only those students are going to create a project with their groups, and their group is only two persons. One is that friend who have a laptop or desktop, and another you who are not have any laptop or a desktop. It's already given deadline time. That's the 10th July, 8 p.m. So that's the deadline, 10th July, 8 p.m. तर मी परत एकदा सेम थिंग रिपीट करतोय. ज्यांच्याकडे लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉप नाहीये, ते त्यांच्या फ्रेंडला जॉइन होऊ शकतात प्रोजेक्ट तयार करण्यासाठी. तर त्यांच्यासाठी फक्त हा ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट असेल, ज्यांच्याकडे लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉप नाहीये. इतर सर्वजण इंडिव्हिज्युअली प्रोजेक्ट करतील. Yes, group project means what? Your work on a same project. तर ज्यांच्याकडे लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉप नाहीये, ते त्यांच्या फ्रेंडला जॉइन होतील आणि त्यांच्यासाठी फक्त हा ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट असेल. बाकीच्या सर्वांसाठी हा इंडिव्हिज्युअल प्रोजेक्ट असेल. Yes, वैशाली आणि ऋतुजा, व्हॉट्स युअर क्वेशन? वैशाली, ऋतुजा, व्हॉट्स युअर क्वेशन? ओके. तर उद्या रात्रीपर्यंत तुम्ही तुमचा प्रोजेक्ट सबमिट करायचा आहे. सगळ्यांकडे Google फॉर्म लिंक आहे. प्रोजेक्ट GitHubवर कसा अपलोड करायचा हे सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे. तरी काही डाउट असतील तर तुम्ही आत्ता विचारू शकता प्रोजेक्टबाबत. प्रोजेक्टबाबत काही डाउट असतील तर तुम्ही आत्ता विचारू शकता. जर तुमचा प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट झाला असेल आणि तुम्हाला दाखवायचा असेल अपलोड करायच्या आधी, तर आपण आपलं सेशन एंडिंगला आल्यानंतर तुमचा प्रोजेक्टचा कोड मी रिव्ह्यू करू शकतो. पण त्याच्या आधी काही डाउट अजून क्वेशन काही विचारायचे असतील रिगार्डिंग प्रोजेक्ट तुम्ही आत्ता विचारू शकता. तर ज्यांच्याकडे लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉप नाहीये, त्यांच्यासाठी हा ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट असते आणि ते त्यांच्या मित्रांना जॉइन करू शकतात. फक्त जॉइन करताना अशा मित्रांना जॉइन करा ज्यांच्याकडे लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉप आहे. ओके. तर आपण सेशन चालू करतोय. या आजच्या सेशनमध्ये मी काय करणार आहे, तर आपला जो अ, हायबरनेट नेटिव्ह APIचा कोड आहे, तो आपण कंप्लीट करू. तो कोड समजून घेऊ कशा पद्धतीने लिहिलेला आहे आणि त्याच्यानंतर आपण जो तुम्ही कोड कंप्लीट केलेला आहे प्रोजेक्टचा, तो रिव्ह्यू करायला चालू करू. So let's continue. Okay. So what I'm right here. Look here. We are use a session factory. We are use a session factory to initialize a session object. To initialize session object. Why? Because session factory is synchronized. It's a thread set and session is not thread set. That's why we are initialize session with a session factory. With a session factory. After that, the session, that means the session, it's also interface. The session is a lightweight object used to interact with a database and it is not a thread set. So using that session object, we can perform CURD operation. So that session are able to execute Hibernate query language. That's called HQL. After that, we are use a transaction within our method. What's the transaction? It is also interface that Hibernate transaction manage database transaction. It's ensure atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. That's ACID property. It's ensuring that things ACID property. So So here we are use a session to save a data. That means persist the data. So how many methods are there? That method we are call using session object. The first method is a save. That method is deprecated. Nowadays we are not use a save method. Instead save method we are use a persist method. So persist method is a save new entity and returns it's not return ID. It's only save a new entity. After that get method is there. Get method fetches entity by primary key and return null if not found. After that update method is there. To update existing detached entity we are use update. But update nowadays is deprecated. Instead that we are use a merge method. So merge it's useful for update a entity. The delete method is there. That's a delete persistent or attach object. After that, if we have some complex query, to execute that complex query, we are use a create query method. And that create query method are able to use Hibernate query language. It's like similar to SQL, but Hibernate query language work on over a object. After that, if you want to write or execute raw query, that's called native SQL queries. Then we have one another method. That method also we can execute using session object. That method name is create SQL query. So those method we are used to manipulate a database data, the object data. After that, I say that HQL. It stands for Hibernate Query Language. HQL is a object-oriented query language like SQL, but operates on entity object, not a tables. So it's a similar to like a SQL, but it's use objects. For example, when we are use select star from employee table, when we are write that SQL query, that same query we are write in HQL from employee. If you want to use where clause, then we can use a from employee where ID equal to ID. If you want to update, then we are use update employee and set that specific column and that value where that ID is equal to match ID. So like that we are use HQL query. So the Hibernate object have their own life cycle. That means that life cycle phases, there are three phases. First is a transient. That transient life cycle phase, it's a create new object. It's not associated with the session. After that, next phase is a persistent. After persist, when we are invoke persist method, is it's associated with the session. After that, there are next last phase is a detach. Session is a close and object no longer to track. That means we are closing our object. So that's called detach. So, so that's a Hibernate native API. So here we are right only for save purpose, save data. So let's use that save employee within our main. So let's see how we can use. So what's employee service object I need to create? It's a static method. Let's check. It's not static method. So we need to create object. So we are created object. After that, once we are create object, then it is possible to invoke a method obj dot, what's our method name? Save employee. This method accept employee entity object. So we need one employee entity object. So employee entity, that object is employee, equal to new. So constructor, and we are created one constructor, and using that constructor using that method, we need to invoke setter methods. Using that object, we need to invoke setter method. Employee dot set first name. Our ID is auto incremented, right? It's a primary key. So we can set first name. After that, object dot set last name. Object, that's the employee object dot set email. And at the end, we require to set hire date, the object name dot set hire date. And hire date, it's a SQL date form. So that's why date dot value of method I invoke. So it's converted our string into date. So it's a date format 2025 YYY MM, and it's a DD. Okay. So that's a simple thing. We are create object, and that object I'm going to pass to our save employee method as an argument. So it's a save data into our database. So that's a way to save data into database. After that, once we are save data within a database, but before that, let's execute and check is that database are holding our data or not. For that reason, I just create, I start my database pgctl -n log file, and it's a start. So our database server is started there. Once its database server is started, let's check my configuration file and what's our database name. So I'm going to check configuration file. That configuration file we are right within the resource. That's name is hibernate config.xml. So empdb. So let's check if we have empdb or not. So I'm going to open. I'm going to open pgadmin 4. It's a graphical user interface client tool for PostgreSQL database. Okay. So once it's open, I just need to check is there any EMPDB available or not. Okay, EMPDB we have. Is any table we have within EMPDB schemas? Tables. Okay, it's empty. Currently, it's empty. So let's execute our application. So I'm going to execute the application, right click, run as Java application. It's a class loading exception that's unable to load class. Let's check a POM file. Within a POM file, maybe we are not adding dependency for PostgreSQL. So let's add. Maven repository. From Maven repository, what's we require? PostgreSQL driver. It's a JDBC driver are required. Version 42.7. Copy and paste within my POM file. Done. It's done, right? So once we are added dependency, every time when we are add dependency, we need to make Maven update a project. And once it's a success, then we need to run as a Maven build tool, clean, install, run. So it's downloaded our PostgreSQL driver. It's a build success, and once it's a build success, we rerun our project. So main file, on a main file, I right click and click to run as Java application. So that all logs are correct. Now let's check our file. Data is there or not. Refresh. Only refresh. We need to refresh. Refresh. So EMP details are there. Let's check the data from EMP details. And we have our data within our database. We have our data within our database. So it's done, right? So let's complete our application. Okay. Now we are created one method. That method we are write within one class. That class name is employee service. Within that we are write a save method. And I hope you understand what's that save method. After that, once we are save method, I want to display all employees. So I want to list out that all employees. So for that reason, I'm going to create one another method that's a public, and it's a return a list type of employee entity. It's a return type of employee entity. That's a return type. After that, method name is a get all. That's a simple method I write to get all employees. So it's a list, right? So list is a collection framework interface. So we need to import it. So here we need to return a list, right? To return a list, to return a list, we are use try with resources. That is the same thing I'm going to use. So here try with resources. It's a create session object. Just a minute.
काका पाणी घेऊन या येताना.
Now, I'm use a try with resource to create a session object. And that session object we are going to create using our method. That method we are write within Hibernate util class. So that's a Hibernate util class dot get session factory. And that session I want to open. So that's why open session. So we are open that session. Once we are write that things, curly bracket open and close. And within that curly bracket, we need to write that logic, which logic to get all employees. So here I want to get all employees, right? So, and it's a return. So directly I'm returning that employees from session object dot create query. And here I'm going to create a query. That query get all result from database from employee. That's a query, and it's belong from employee entity, right? It's belong from employee entity class. And we want it convert into list. We want convert into list. So that's a simple thing we are used to return the employees from our database. So let's use that things within our main. So here we are going to retrieve all employees, right? So we are going to get all employees. So that's a return into list, right? So first we require list. That's a type of employee entity. That's a type of employee entity. Object name is okay. List we need to import. It's a collection framework interface. Employee we are already create. So we are create employee list equal to the object dot get all employees. So now our EMP list are holding that all employees. So let's use a for loop to retrieve it for employee entity. Object name is E. It's a iterate over EMP list. It's iterate over an EMP list. And here I want to print that all data E dot get first name. It hired. Okay. So that data we required ID also, right? So E dot okay, that's good. So now we are able to add get all data from employee details table. So that's the way to fetch that things. Okay. So currently we are so let's add that data first. So it's Anirudh 2. Okay, that data I'm going to add, and after that fetch it. Look here, we are getting that all data from EMP details table. So once we are get all that data, how it is possible to update and delete? So to update within a service class, I'm going to create one another method. It's for update. The method is a public. It's not written anything. Method name is update. And that method holding the object, which object you need to update. So let's write the same thing. We already write it in a transaction save employee. Just I copy that things. Paste here. Changes is what? Instead it's E, and instead persist, I can use merge. Merge. So that things I'm use here merge. Right? So that now Let's use that method within our main. So within a main, we have already employee object, right? It's belong from right now it's belong from ID2. So let's comment it first. So let's object employee, update employee dot set first name. That's Dinesh. That's updated. After that, I want use object dot update employee, and employee I want to update. So let's use. So that update I want to check. So that's why I will update it before get all employees. So let's check. So that's updated. That's updated, but it's create in a new row. So why it's create new row? Okay, that's code is correct to update. Dinesh, I want to use Let's check. Okay, so we need to change our logic. So let's move to employee service. So that employee I'm going to add first. Okay, so current object holding that data. Last name. No, it's inserted new rows. So we need to update our logic. Okay, so first we are complete that all methods, then we can update our logic. So at the end, we need to write public void delete employee. So that delete employee, I need to write it's accept employee ID to delete employee. Okay. So I use the same things within my code. Maybe due to copy paste, we are miss some logics. So it's a transaction that's a null, initialize with null. After that, within a try with resources, we are create a session and being a transaction. And after being a transaction, I need to a get employee ID. So that employee ID I need to get and store within one object. So it's an employee entity. That's EMP. EMP is equal to session dot get method I'm going to call, and that get method holding two argument. That get method we are write for entity employee entity dot class, and from that things we need to use EMP ID. Okay, so once we are get that ID which we are provide, once we are get that ID, after that we can check cross check that things if that EMP is not equal to null, and if it is a true, we need to delete a session, delete a employee. Session dot delete. What I need delete? EMP. That employee I need to delete. So that's the unnecessary code. I need to remove it first. So instead delete, we can use next method, that's remove. So that's updated for 7. So let's check. So delete method is not useful right now because that we are use updated Hibernate 7. It's have the remove method for a session. That means remove introduced as allies since Hibernate 6, like it's JPS style. Okay, done. So let's check is it remove or not. So here a comment for update. Okay, it's a before and it's after, and in middle we are going to use object dot delete, and employee sixth I want to delete. Let's check. Make sure we are comment that all things this is not required. Okay. Okay, so is six number ID is deleted. So that's a full program. Just we need to update our logic from employee service for update. So just wait, I'm going to update my logic. So we are use here entity directly, right? So instead use entity. We can use employee ID. Yeah, it's an integer emp ID for update purpose. And here after being a transaction, after being a transaction, we need to set the new name for employee. So that's the last name, right? So it's a string, string, new last name. We can say it's a new last name. And that last name we need to update. So after being a transaction, uh, first we need to fetch that employee by ID. So for that reason, session object I'm going to use session dot get method. We have that get method holding two argument. First is employee entity dot class, and second one is ID, which ID we want to fetch. So that's ID is EMP ID. Okay. Once we are get that particular employee, we need to store it within object. Okay. So that's things we are stored within our object. And once we are stored, we need to check it. That means before write anything. So let's check if E is not null, not equal to null. And if it is a E is not equal to null, if it is a true, then I am set set last name as a new last name, right? And after that, I'm going to update it. Okay, so that's the correct way. So let's verify. Okay, so let's verify. So here we need to update, right? We have employee ID and string for last name. So suppose the fifth number employee ID I want to update and last name is that name I want to insert. That's our updated code with the correct logic. So that's the code, and I'm going to share that code with you. Okay, so I just cross check that all things are available there. And after that, I'm going to upload it. Someone or remove our shared directory. No problem. So let's download that sharing folder from that link. Okay, so here we are completed our first stage, that's from Hibernate. That's use a Hibernate with the Hibernate native API. So I'm going to summarize that all things. Okay, so let's summarize that all things. Okay, so here we are create one employee service class to write the CRUD operation logic. For that purpose, to perform CRUD operation, we are create our first method, that's a save employee. Within that method, we are write one transaction instance and initialize that instance with a null. After that, transaction instance are required to commit a transaction and to roll back transaction. After that, we are create one session instance, and session is a interface. So that's why that session we can initialize with the get session factory method, which we are write within Hibernate util class. Once we are write that things, we need to open that session because we need to perform operations. After that, we are begin a transaction using session, and using session we are called persist method. So that persist method are able to store a data, that data is employee, and once we are store that data using persist, we need to commit using transaction. So when we are commit, that data will be stored within a database. So that's the save employee method. After that, we need to retrieve all data. So that's why I use a try block. Within a try with resource, create session object. Once we are create a session object, using that session object, I invoke one Hibernate query language. I fire one Hibernate query language, and to fire Hibernate query language, we are use one method, that is create query. Create query method holding two parameters. First one is a string that's belong from Hibernate query language. So here we are write from employee entity. That means select star from employee entity. And after that, that class which is belong from that employee entity, it's a employee entity class. And that's things we are converted within a list. So it's a simple method, get all employees. After that, we required to update employee. To update employee, we required a particular ID where we need to update. And after that, what are the things we need to update? So we are updated only last name. So same thing, session object are created. After that, create employee entity object. Within that object, we are store a particular employee. That employee we are get using a session.get method. So that particular employee, which employee ID we are assigned, that employee we are store within a E object. After that, we just cross check that E is not null, not equal to null. And if it is a true, then we are set a new last name for our employee and use a merge method to update our employee. After that, we are use a delete employee. For delete any employee, we required employee ID. Same thing we are right. We are create transaction object initialize with null. We are to create session object. We are begin a transaction, and once begin a transaction, what's the employee I need to delete? I need to fetch that employee out employee and store it's in an employee object. After that, verify that employee is not equal to null, and if it is a true, I want to remove that employee using session.remove. So that's a simple thing we are right to perform CRUD operation. So I hope you are understand. So now let's start a question answering. That project all zip file I share with you on our chat box. You can download it from there, extract and open within your Eclipse ID. So is any question regarding uh, Hibernate native API? Is any question regarding Hibernate native API? Please check code first, because from now we are not writing single file. There are multiple files we are write to create a single software. So is any question regarding that Hibernate native API? Okay, take your time to check that code, and after that you can ask me a question or your doubts. Students, all recorded lectures are updated on our shared repository. The 20 number lecture from Hibernate, and it's updated here.
Pardon me, sir, but can we use, is it compulsory to use the DAO class in our project file?
No, you can, it's only name. You can write any other things. Or if you want to write within a main method, then it is possible that you can write within that class which is holding a main method.
Okay, thank
So
you, sir.
that all operations you can perform on that class which is holding a main method. So no need to create a service class. So we are write that things because currently our program is small. It's have a limited scope. But if you write an enterprise application which have 1,000 number of lines of code, then we need to split that things. So it's updated 20 number lecture. It's from Hibernate.
Also, sir, can we use file handling rather than just using PostgreSQL and CRUD operations?
No, you can take a data from file and store that data within a database. Do not use only file handling. So students, raise your questions. Okay, once again, I'm going to explain that all project. Okay, look here. The first thing is first, I create one entity file. That's name is employee entity. What's the purpose of that employee entity class? It's able to create a table for us within a database. So that's the purpose of entity class. After that, it is also possible we can set and get a data from entity class object for our data manipulation, right? After that, we are create Hibernate configuration file that's holding a driver, PostgreSQL driver, URL, username, password, and a schema for Hibernate and mapping entity class. After that, we are created our service. That service class means what? It's that class which are holding logic to manipulate the data. Within that class, we are write a method for save employee, for list employees, for update employee, and for delete employee. But before that, we are miss one thing. We have one another class that is a Hibernate utility class. We are perform that all operations using session object. But to create a session is an interface, and that interface is a not thread safe. It's not synchronized. So we required thread safe interface, and that thread safe interface is a session factory. So that's why we are create one class Hibernate util to use session factory object, and that session factory when we are use get session factory method, that's get session factory method return a session object, return session factory object, and that session factory object we are used to create initialize session object. So that's why we are create a single tone method. That method name is a get session factory. And within a try static block, we are write that code, which is holding our configuration file. Our configuration file within our session factory object. So our session factory object initialize with all that property values which are we are write within our Hibernate config.xml file. After that, how to execute? Right click. First, it's only one time to run as Maven build, clean install. Once we are get successful message, then it is a possible to execute using open main.java file. That main.java file holding main method, and within that main method we are invoke that all methods which we are write within employee.service employee service.java file. And to execute, just right click to that main.java and run Java application. So you can get your desired output according to your code. Okay, so that's a simple explanation for that project, and also the purpose of each file which we are write within our project. Is any other question? Is any other question? Okay, so today we are discuss Hibernate native API, how we can use, what the things are available within Hibernate native API, and using that Hibernate native API, how to create any project. That all things we are discussed today. Hope you are understand. I shared that zip file code project zip file with you. Please download it. Now I'm given one question for you. Okay. So there are one question, that's how to create Hibernate config.xml file. Look here, we are create Maven project. Within a Maven project, we have one folder. That folder name is a resource. That resources folder, within that resources folder, just I right click, new, the file, and write your file name. That's the hibernate.config.xml. Once you are create a file, then within that file, the first thing, that's it's a XML file. So that's the XML schema we are right there. After that, document doc type, that means that document which we are right here, that's belong from Hibernate configuration. We are write that things. After that, Hibernate configuration is a root tag. That tag holding one session factory tag. And here we are write a property of session factory. And we have entity class. That entity class we are mapping here using mapping tag. Close session factory, close Hibernate configuration. And these configuration we are going to associate with our session factory object within Hibernate util class. So here we are create a static block. Within that static block, we are create use a session factory instance and initialize it with configuration dot configure dot build session factory. So build session factory a return session factory object which is a initiated. So I hope you are understand how to create Hibernate config XML file. No, Hibernate Maven is build automation tool. that build up automation tool are useful to manage a project structure, project dependencies. And Hibernate is a one of ORM tool. That ORM tool are useful to interact with the database using objects. So both are not same. Is any other question? Yes, please share your GitHub links so I can start to check your projects. Okay, it's from Sushant. Okay, so how to check your project? Look here, when you want to check your project, that means verify your project, first you open Form 5. Check there how you can write a dependency. So it's a dependency stack. Within dependency stack, you're right, a dependency for PostgreSQL with the version number. That's correct. After that, you have your source code, right? Source code are holding main.java. Within that main.java package, you are create number of other packages according to your requirement. So main.java file holding a main method. It's a database connection. It's a Pojo class and it's a data object access. Always remember what's your name, Sushant. When we are going to insert data within our database, then always use parameterized query. And when we are get a data from a database, on that time we can use statement interface. Okay, that's good. The last one. Okay. Okay, you are use menu driven things. That's What's your name? Sushant. Is it possible to you that you can use Swiss statement in a newer way? Sushant, is it possible to you that use a okay, that's good. Only one change. After that, I'm going to check README file. Okay, you are provided your structure, project structure, database setup. Okay, view all rights, dependency. Okay. Uh, तर मी आता जे काही जे काही सांगणार आहे ते सुशांत आणि सगळ्यांसाठीच आहे. आपण इथे रीडमी फाईल तयार केली आहे. पर्पज काय असतो रीडमी फाईलचा? की जेव्हा कधी तुम्ही एखादं सॉफ्टवेअर बनवता, तेव्हा ते सॉफ्टवेअर जेव्हा तुम्ही पास करता क्लायंट साइडला, तेव्हा क्लायंट साइडला त्याचा सेटअप व्यवस्थित व्हावा, याच्यासाठी आपल्याला मॅन्युअल्स द्यावं लागतात त्यांना. मॅन्युअल्स म्हणजे इन्स्ट्रक्शन सेट. मग हे इन्स्ट्रक्शन सेट खूपदा GitHubच्या पॅकेज सोबतच दिलं जातं एम-डी फाईलमध्ये, .md फाईलमध्ये. आणि त्यानुसार आपल्याला आपली रीडमी फाईल तयार करायची. म्हणजे आपल्याला हा विचार करायचा की हे तुमचं प्रोजेक्ट तुम्ही जर एखाद्या क्लायंटला देत असाल, तर त्यानुसार तुम्हाला कुठल्या-कुठल्या गोष्टी तिथे लिहाव्या लागतील. तर त्यासाठी मी तुम्हाला एक सॅम्पल पण दिलं होतं. तर तुम्ही चांगला उपयोग केला सुशांत त्याचा. ओके. तर सुशांत, तुम्ही इथे तुमचा मेन स्क्रीनशॉट ॲड करू शकता, जो मेनू ड्रायव्हन प्रोग्रामचा. तर तो फक्त इथे अपडेट करा आणि तुम्ही सबमिट करू शकता तुमचा प्रोजेक्ट. ओके. आफ्टर सुशांत. इट्स फ्रॉम अरुंधती. दॅट्स व्हेरी गुड अरुंधती. दॅट्स व्हेरी गुड. तर अरुंधती, फक्त एक सिंपल स्क्रीनशॉट ॲड करा तुमच्या प्रोजेक्टच्या फर्स्ट स्क्रीनचा, जो मेनू ड्रायव्हन सिस्टम दर्शवतोय. तर तेवढंच फक्त आहे अरुंधती तुमच्यासाठी. अरुंधती, एक अजून एक चेंज आहे तुमच्यासाठी. जेव्हा आपण सिंगल डिपेंडन्सी वापरतो ना, सिंगल डिपेंडन्सी, तेव्हा टाइप आणि स्कोपचं गरज नसतं. टाइप आणि स्कोपची गरज नसते. केव्हा? जेव्हा आपण सिंगल डिपेंडन्सी वापरतो. जेव्हा आपण डिपेंडन्सी मॅनेजमेंट वापरतो, म्हणजे बिल ऑफ मटेरियल वापरतो, तेव्हाच फक्त आपल्याला टाइप आणि स्कोपची गरज असते. पण ठीक आहे, काही हरकत नाही. पण पुढच्या वेळेस हे लक्षात ठेवा नेक्स्ट प्रोजेक्टला. सो दॅट्स गुड. फक्त स्क्रीनशॉट ॲड करा. आफ्टर अरुंधती, शुभम. तर शुभमनी काय केलेलं आहे? स्टुडंट मॅनेजमेंट सिस्टीम. ओके. ओके. दॅट्स गुड शुभम. स्क्रीनशॉट ॲड करा रेडमी फाईलवर शुभम. स्क्रीनशॉट ऍड करा फक्त रेडमी फाईलवर. आफ्टर दॅट आफ्टर शुभम. Which students are not having any laptop or desktop, those will be create a project with a team. So join to your friends who have a laptop or desktop. That's only for those students who are not having any laptop and desktop. Okay, it's from Vyavhar. What's your name? Nikhil. Nikhil, that means when we are create any Maven project, then it's not included properties tag. It's not included name and URL. But in your side, it's added. That means you are create that POM file with the help of AI. Next. Shant. Sushant, I'm unable to get your POM file. Please update your project. Do not upload that project. Do not submit that project without a proper directory structure of your Maven. Do not submit a project without a proper directory structure of Maven. You need to alter the all things. What's your name? What's your name? Srushti. So Srushti, that message for you. You need to alter your all directory structure. It's not a Maven project. It's not a Maven project. Okay, that's good. Sukanya, just add some one screenshot. That's a first page screenshot of your executed application. So Sukanya, only that things for you. Just you need to update a screenshot. Sukanya, look here. Your use Java version 1.8 and that version are not able to execute our Hibernate. Sorry, is your application are executable? Sukanya, please reply me. Is it executable? Okay, no problem. But from now, please remember that things. We always use the version either 17 or either 22. It's a very older version, 1.8. That means it may be before your birth. It's 1.8 seats. It's very old. So please do not use that older version. Always within a source and target, it's a 17. Okay. After that, Okay, that's AI generated code. Next one. It's from Path. Path. Okay, that's good Path. सृष्टी थोरात, तुमचा प्रोजेक्ट जो आहे तो मॅवन प्रोजेक्ट नाहीये. डिरेक्टरी स्ट्रक्चर मॅवन नुसार नाहीये. तर तुम्हाला सगळ्या फाईल्स अल्टर कराव्या लागतील. आपल्याला मॅवन प्रोजेक्ट अपलोड करायचा आपल्या गिटहब रिपॉझिटरीवर. तुमचा प्रोजेक्ट मॅवन नाहीये. At the end, you need to add a screenshot. It's only single screenshot. End of README file. Yes, if you are using IntelliJ IDEA, then your POM file will be write differently. But that's not recommended that you can use any other ID than Eclipse. Either you can use Eclipse or either you can use Eclipse with a Spring Tool suite. Okay, I'm going to show you how to upload your Maven project on your repository. Look here. Suppose that's my Maven project. Of course, it's a Hibernate project, but it's a Maven project, right? So I just open that project on our System Explorer, right? So now that file you need to copy on your local repository. Once you are copy that file, it's holding that all things which describe Maven project structure. That's a POM file, dot project class path src, and within src we have main test. Within a main we have a Java folder. So that's the project structure from Maven, and that things you need to push on your remote repository. So you need to copy not only those files, you need to copy that directory. So hope you understand. It's if you're not join class, then it's not possible to take a presenting because it's automatic things. I'm not going to enter any manual presenting here. Okay, look here. What's we are right? I just close that Hibernate application. Close. And so what's your name? Dheeraj. Please share your screen. So I will help you to upload a project on GitHub. And it's an example for other students also who are not able to push local side code on remote side. So Dheeraj, please share your screen. So I will help you to upload the local folder on remote site using GitHub, and it's an example for everyone. Or you can check our previous lectures, that all lectures are recorded. Within that lectures, you can find out how to upload a project on GitHub. So please check recorded lectures. What's your name? Aditya. Aditya. No, Aditya. That's not a Maven project. You need to update a Maven project. Aditya, you need to alter that all files. Yes, that's a Maven project, Aditya. You have a POM file and it's have a dependency. Yes, it's correct. Aditya, just one alteration. Just add screenshot at the end of file. That screenshot you need to add at the end of file. Just one alteration for Aditya. Bhumi. Yes, that's a Maven project. And Bhumi, which ID you are used here? Bhumi, which ID you are used here? Bhumi Raut. Because your POM file is not according to Eclipse. Then you are use AI to generate POM file. Okay. Okay. So one instruction for those students who are create a project with a group. Look here, when you are going to create a project with a group, that's the instruction for those students who are create a project with a group. That means those students who are not having any laptop and desktop. Look here, when you or your team member update your project on GitHub, make sure they can use team member's name. That means here within a README files, they need to write team member's name. Bhumi Raut, you need to alter your README file. There are not have any things. So instruction आहे, ज्या स्टुडंट कडे लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉप नाहीये ते ग्रुपमध्ये प्रोजेक्ट करत आहेत आणि ज्यांच्याकडे लॅपटॉप आणि डेस्कटॉप आहे त्यांच्या मित्रांमध्ये त्यांना एक इन्स्ट्रक्शन आहे की त्यांनी त्यांच्या टीम जी काही टीम आहे त्या टीमच्या सगळ्या मेंबरची नावं रीडमी फाईल मध्ये डिस्प्ले करायची आहे. टीमच्या सगळ्या टीमची नाव मेंबर्सची नाव रीडमी फाईल मध्ये डिस्प्ले करायची आहेत. Bhumi Raut, you need to update your project. The README file is not according to our requirement. Bhumi Raut, did you create a project? That means, did you create a project with the help of team? That means, Rohini 363. It's a initial commit. That means she have laptop, and you also have a laptop or desktop, anything. So why Rohini are created your project? Bhumi Raut. Why Rohini is created your project? That's a question for Bhumi Raut. Okay, that's okay. Okay. So, okay, no problem. Then you can continue. Just change your README file, Bhumi Raut. Just change your README file. Okay. So, students, I hope you are understand that all things how to create Maven project, upload Maven project on a remote side GitHub repository, and also what the things we are discussed. That things is what Hibernate native API, how we can use, how we can implement, and how we can manipulate the data using Hibernate session methods. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Sushant. So, students, I'm going to end this session here, but be there. I'm going to take attendance, download attendance. Okay. So, I'm going to download attendance. Yes, it's downloaded. Now, do you have any question regarding Hibernate? What are the things we are covered today? Because tomorrow we are going to uh, start a new concept from Hibernate, that is a JPA. Today we are completed Hibernate native API. Yes, if you are use VS Code, then it's a totally difference for POM5. What about Ajay Mali? How to push group project file on GitHub? Only single person are posted that group project file on GitHub, but make sure who are posted that file, that who are pushed that file on GitHub, that person make sure within a README file, you need to mention all member names. Afrin Sheikh. If you are create a project with the 3 members, make sure that 2 members are not have a laptop and desktop. If they have, then they can create project individually. That group project, that's a concession only for those students who are not having laptop and desktop. Yes, of course. Tomorrow at the ending, we can review some other projects. So thank you very much for attending class. See you tomorrow. Okay, Afri. And that 2 persons have a laptop. Afri, is that 2 persons have a laptop where you are joined? Okay. So thank you very much to attending today's class. I'm going to end this meeting here. See you tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to learn a JPA with Hibernate. Yes, Sukhanyava, you can submit uh, your project with a Google form. Okay, that's good. What's your name? Pranita. Pranita, can you share your GitHub link? Pranita Khedkar, can you share your GitHub link? Yes, yes. What's your doubt? Yes, please ask your doubt. What's your doubt? You need to add script. At the end of your README file. At the end of your README file. Yes, if you are updated your GitHub repository, you should submit Google form. Okay, no problem, Pranita. You can share tomorrow. So thank you very much to attending today's class. I'm going to end this meeting here. Is any other question there? If you're not have any question, then I'm going to end this meeting here. Okay, so thank you very much.